Check the mic and make sure it sound right, boy.
Mic check one, mic check two. What's up, y'all? Welcome to the Richest Steve in Atlanta, where it is about the journey, not the status. I am your host, Stevie Steve, the Richest Steve in Atlanta, and we are back at y'all with episode number 50. We are the big 5-0 in the building. Y'all already know we about 3 more weeks away from a year. A year doing the Richest Steve in Atlanta thing, y'all, or a year of doing it like this. Doing it like this. But anyway, I know y'all seen the title. Bye bye DUI. We are here with two good topics for y'all. Two good topics for y'all. But first, make sure y'all like, subscribe, and leave a comment on your way in the door. The first topic we'll be talking about today is companies are abandoning DEI, and then we will talk about the MLK files that are being released. So like I said, y'all are in for a great show. So make sure you like, subscribe, and leave a comment. Today we will be starting with companies abandoning DEI. Guys, I know y'all have been seeing everything that's been going on with Trump and him basically outlawing DEI in the federal, when it comes to federal businesses or federal things that are going on. I don't know how y'all feel about it, but I feel like I've been talking about DEI, at least with my friends or in my close group. We've been having conversations about the whole DEI thing for a little while now. Like, it's been a year. I remember my first time really understanding or hearing anything about DEI had to do with the standpoint of DEI and college exceptions, like college admission rates, basically. So when they first started going down of saying that they want to get rid of DEI and they want America to be a merit society, on the outside, I'm not gonna lie to y'all, I kind of understand where they're coming from, or I understand why they are pushing back on having DEI in workplaces or for school admission or just in general. But of course, y'all know we have a video for this, and we will talk more about it as we go. But let's go ahead and get into the video.
Welcome and thank you for joining us for the second half hour, The Factor Uncensored. Breaking news tonight, President Trump has directed the Pentagon to come up with transgender troop policy that likely sets in motion a future ban on their service. Now, this comes as Target joins a growing list of corporations that have ended their diversity, equity, and inclusion initiatives, also known as DEI. Now, the retailer announced a new strategy on Friday, ending the company's 3-year diversity, equity, and inclusion programming goals. This follows similar policy changes at other businesses after the Trump administration rolled back federal DEI programs. Joining us to talk about it, publicist Brigitte Holden. Glad to have you here on The Factor Uncensored.
So as y'all see, there has been a lot of things going on when it comes to diversity, equity, and inclusion, DEI. Like I said, it's all been crazy. And I feel like no, let me stop. I'll tell my story. I'll tell my story after we just get a little bit more further in this video. Let's continue.
Of course, when we talk about diversity, equity, and inclusion, for those who don't know exactly what it is, because it's become a dirty term now, but what is it?
So basically, diversity, equity, inclusion was including those of minority status, whether if it was African Americans, LGBTQ plus community, Hispanics, brown and black people. And so that was just to give them an opportunity to work in the company to move up without discrimination.
All right, let's go to our big board.
Okay, so that basically is what DEI is, y'all. It's like forcing companies to recognize individuals who are marginalized, I would say. They don't have as many opportunities. And that's where I see DEI being good. I feel like it's a good thing to help people out who need help get into places. But let me go into the story of how I found out kind of more about DEI. I found about DEI because of college admission. After I had graduated college admissions for like the Ivy League schools. So all the top schools that people try to get into Ivy League. But there was a conversation going on about who really deserved to be in those schools. Like, there were certain individuals who weren't allowed into these schools, even though they met all of the requirements. They weren't allowed to make it into the school because they felt that some of their spots were taken up by people who they were trying to give a chance to. And this is why I say I understand why someone would not like DEI. If I had all the requirements and I've been working hard all my life to attend this school, and when I look at the school's admission requirements and I meet all of them with flashing colors, and then the marginalized group who I feel like I've worked harder to get into this school than they had to, I too would feel some type of way. Even though, yes, I understand that the marginalized group has more that they have to, well, quote unquote, let me say quote unquote, more things that they have to deal with, because it's coming from somebody who's actually went through those rigorous admission processes. I would be upset too. And I would fight for that not to be the case, because I would feel cheated or slighted as well. Not saying that the marginalized person shouldn't have a chance to get into this school, but I feel like they should have to fight just as hard or have exactly the same admissions to get into this school. Now, with that, y'all, there's a lot. This is why I say I understand on the outside, but on the inside, it's like that person who's not marginalized, they have opportunities that the marginalized person would never be able to get. They would never be able to afford. They would never see in their sphere of reality, which is why I understand why DEI has helped so many individuals, and it's a story that does help. However, the word DEI, because of this whole stigmatism around it, has been turned into a bad thing. It When somebody says DEI, now it's you didn't earn what you were given. You were just given it. That's the stigmatism that has been placed on DEI now. And that's kind of the story that has been played when it comes to DEI. That's why when I say I understand why somebody would feel that way, that's the story that has been presented. Not just to me, but to pretty much society now, and it's a lot of people who are fighting for DEI, which I understand why workplaces should look diverse, why workplaces should want to include people. But I also feel like, as a minority person, with all this stuff that's going on, if a company does not want to just do that anyway, and there are laws that are forced upon them to do it, I almost don't want to be a part of that organization anyway. That's kind of how I feel. Like I wouldn't want to be in that space anyway. If I'm not accepted just for being me, and I wouldn't want to be in that place anyway. I don't want people to force that like I want to be in a place where I'm comfortable anyway. So I kind of understand why there's so much kickback with DEI in a sense. But let's go ahead and continue this.
First on the list, Target. Has there been any pushback, any blowback for those who may shop, those minorities who may shop at Target?
Well, now there's some talks of maybe boycotting Target because it's like you get rid of your program. Now, understand that Target was forced into diversity, equity, and inclusion.
Mhm.
They didn't want to be a part of the program to begin with.
Right.
So for them, it's almost like, okay, we don't want to do it anyway. So yes, I think the community, the minorities will see that and go, should we still shop there?
It's kind of like Costco, who is standing its ground saying, I'm
Exactly.
not getting rid of our program. We're
And
going to
Apple.
keep it. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Now,
Absolutely.
next on the list,
Walmart.
my store, Walmart. All my life I had to fight. Who knew Walmart would be a battle?
Walmart is like, and it's kind of a catch-22 between Target and Walmart because they have all the things that we purchase
need,
from
yeah.
there. Yeah.
At an affordable price.
Absolutely, including Amazon.
Mhm.
It's like if we don't get it from there, then we go on Amazon. But then it's like, where else can I buy it? Because to go to those individual companies to buy them, it's a little time-consuming, and really nobody's going to do that. But until we find our own, we're kind of in a conundrum.
Can we walk away from those stores? Is it possible?
It puts us in a catch-22. Like I said, they provide all the things that we need at discounted prices. It's easy to get, easy to come by. But if you go individually to those companies to purchase, that's a lot of stuff to buy from individual companies, especially on Amazon, where you can just click, purchase.
And it's at your front door.
Exactly. It's at your door.
McDonald's is on the list.
Well, I don't eat McDonald's. I'm vegan. I haven't eaten McDonald's in a minute. However,
but there are millions of Americans who do.
Billions. There are over a billion served is their slogan. And so it's unfortunate because most children, that's who they cater to, want McDonald's. And most parents are like, hey, let's go to McDonald's Friday. That's your treat. So that's kind of tough too. But you guys shouldn't be feeding your children McDonald's.
What else do we have on the list, guys? Meta platform. So
now, this is tough. Because
that's your Facebook,
that's my
that's
Facebook,
your Instagram,
all the social media stuff. And I use Meta. And so now it's like, because it's easier for me to post different things for my clients because I use it for business. So now Meta is going away with DEI, but it's like, okay, do I go back to posting each client individually or do I still use the platform? So that's put us in a catch-22 because it's social media and a lot of us are influencers that use it.
All right.
Client individual.
All right, so I want to start out with this list. When we talk about companies pulling the plug on diversity, equity, and inclusion. Let's be real, guys. From the jump, I'm always a let's be real type of person. Ain't nobody gonna stop shopping at Target, Walmart, Amazon, McDonald's, or stop using Instagram and Facebook. We just know it. Like it's not gonna work. Nobody's gonna stop. In a majority, nobody's gonna stop. I already know the answer. Will Steve stop for all of these? I honestly do shop at all of these. McDonald's, I do like McDonald's every now and then. McDonald's is not just for kids. They do not cater for kids. There are thousands, millions of adults who eat at McDonald's every single day. People use Amazon every single day. These companies, y'all aren't going to abandon these companies just because they abandoned DEI. Let's be real. Let's be real. The real problem that's coming right here, why black people feel like we're such a marginalized group or whatever, guys, the real way they say is to affect these company pockets. I don't even think that's the real way to do it. The real way to do it is to be able to influence the government through our money. through our money. And this is why DEI is going out the way anyway. I feel like there is a group of people, like I'm saying, who have a lot of money, and they feel like DEI is hurting their chances of getting jobs. DEI is hurting their chance of getting admitted into school, and DEI is just hurting their chances overall of taking over altogether, because they feel like they reach all the requirements, and they are being limited on the amount of people that they can have in these companies or whatever not because of DEI programming. That's personally how I feel about that. That's how I think there's a group of people who really do feel like DEI is more harm than it is doing good, because people are not getting into these positions because they deserve it. People are getting into these positions because of diversity, equity, and inclusion. They need to be included. They don't deserve this position, but they need to be included so that we look more like America. So I feel like if black people want to be able to change something, change it, we need to be a part of the group. Just be a part of the group who actually earned that position. I don't think a lot of black people are DEI hires, especially if we're saying that DEI means that you just needed to be included. I think a lot of black people earned everything that they have. They went through college. They got admitted into college. They worked hard. They worked their way through college. They started at the bottom of a company. They worked their way up through the company. And they've worked hard in that company and deserve every single piece of money that they have, every single raise that they got, and every single position change, every single manager position that they're in. They have earned those positions through facing a lot of maybe prejudice, people not thinking that they could do it. They have to work 3 times as hard as a lot of people. So if they want to get rid of DEI, I say let them get rid of DEI, because we deserve everything that we've gotten. We fought for everything that we fought for. So if companies want to get rid of DEI, so what? We're still going to get in those positions. Why? Because we are the best people for the job. You are the best person for the job. You're going to work hard and you're going to get that job because you deserve it, not because it's being handed to you. That's how I feel on that. So nobody's going to stop shopping especially nobody's going to stop shopping at these companies anyway. Let's be real. You can call for anything you want to. It's not going to happen. I don't see it happening at all.
Or do I still use the platform? So
The top of this list.
well,
Yeah, we can just
voice to
continue right
drive
on
a Ford
to it.
truck. If you they'll see.
President Trump's first set of executive orders put an end to federal diversity, equity, and inclusion programs. He put nearly 400 federal DEI workers on paid leave and cut nearly $420 million in current and impending federal contracts focused on DEI initiatives. President Trump called these DEI programs discrimination and insisted on restoring strictly merit-based hiring. Joining us to talk about it, CEO of Regal Media, Todd Smith, and publicist Brigitte Holden. Glad to have you all here back on the Factor on Sin.
I'm sorry, y'all. I'm just trying to figure out, is that her real hair? Like, is that her real hair? If it is, I'm gonna say kudos to her, but y'all kind of, I don't know. I don't know if that's her real hair. Not that it can't be. I've seen a lot of women with natural pretty big hair, but it just don't look that real on her, y'all. I'm not gonna lie to you. If it is, I'm so sorry, ma'am. I am sorry. I am. But it don't look that real on her head. Y'all, I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry. Let's continue.
So, Todd, first, let's establish this. When we talk about those who benefit from DEI and affirmative action, who's at the top of that list?
White women.
According to
statistics,
yeah.
But a lot of people look at minority programs.
Once again, I don't think they heard you.
White women. White women. But most people look at affirmative action, they look at DEI and we're the scapegoats.
Yeah,
they're giving black people.
And they hear black.
They hear black people, but that means minorities. That means everybody who's not a white male benefits from this. And Trump is talking about, this is the reason why we need affirmative action and DEI. You talk about merit-based. How merit-based is it if you give jobs just to your buddies at the golf course? If you give jobs to just your cousins and people who grew up in the neighborhood with you? We don't have access to that. So you might not have earned that job, Donald Trump. You might have just got a rich daddy. Your daddy might not have earned that money. He might have just got handouts from the government to house soldiers coming back from World War II, but we won't get into that. The Trump family did not get what they got based on merit. They got where they got from handouts and fraud. Let's call it a spade a spade. So when you turn that emphasis on us, we never had those benefits. We were always taught we had to work twice as hard, 3 times as hard.
You do.
I didn't get to benefit. I didn't get to go to an Ivy League school because I didn't have parents that graduated and I'm a legacy. Black people couldn't go to those schools a lot of times. My parents grew up in Louisiana in the 40s, 50s, and 60s. First generation college graduates. They had to get it out the mud. So when he tells me that my father, myself, my mother, we got it because of discrimination, it's real disrespectful. You have no idea what black people went through to get to where we are. And equality starts to look like discrimination to people who've never had to deal with inequality. Mm-hmm. White people have never had to deal with inequality other than white women, but not on a racial aspect. So this looks like discrimination to them. No, this is fair treatment. And you have to get used to it. This country will be predominantly minority in a little while. If you don't accept that fact, there's no laws and nothing that you can change that's going to stop this momentum. We're here to stay. We're going to be in these jobs. We're going to be in these boardrooms, and we're going to be president again, Trump. Trust me. There's nothing.
And so with that said, really quick, Brigitte, when we think about...
See, that's and that's what I'm saying when it comes to the whole DEI thing. Like, it has been weaponized to the point of, like, it's bad. It's bad. And this is why I say, if they want to get rid of it, just let them get rid of it. Because we still gonna get to this stuff. We have to work hard. Like, you have to work hard to get to these things. These things have not just been handed to you at all. And people with privilege, because they have privilege, they see it as a threat. So they're trying to weaponize, now they're trying to weaponize DEI against people as in, like, you don't deserve it. When in reality, it's been a silver spoon in their mouth since the beginning. So that's why I'm saying let them take DEI. I don't care about DEI. I'm not going to lie to y'all. And I think that if the company that I work for, they don't care to have it, then I wouldn't. If they don't care to have people that look like me in the workplace, then I don't want to be there anyway. Like, I don't care if there's not a DEI thing going on, but I do want my job to push for a workplace that looks like America. I don't think they should have to be forced into it, because if you want a job where it's only white males being there, then I don't want to be there. I'm not gonna lie to you. I don't want to be there. And I'm sure that a lot of other people would feel the exact same way. They would. I don't want to talk about this really too much more. So I say we just go ahead and end it here. Like, I'm gonna just go ahead and end it here. So y'all let me know how y'all feel about this. Y'all let me know how y'all feel about companies abandoning DEI? Like, are y'all going to stop shopping at that list of companies, that very popular list of companies? Because I know I'm not. It's just not going to happen. I used to work at Walmart, guys. I used to work at Walmart, and I definitely know I wasn't a DEI hire at Walmart. Okay, I wasn't a DEI hire at Walmart, so I'm sure there will still be a lot of DEI people who fall under that shopping at all of these companies. And did y'all hear? Y'all also did hear about the whole Target thing. There's a lot of black companies that depend on these places to sell their goods as well. So it's like, if as black people you stop shopping if you stop shopping at those companies, you're the people inside of those stores that are buying black supplies. So in the end, it would harm black companies. I also heard that. So yeah, it's like it's a rock and a hard place with a lot of those. But the only reason I say it's not a rock and a hard place is because we were going to shop there anyway. We're going to shop there anyway. So it's not really too much of a rock and a hard place to not support those places. Yeah, so I will continue to support the black people that work for not the black companies that depend on Walmart and Target to sell their goods. Let me just say it like that. Hey y'all, with that, make sure y'all like, subscribe, and leave a comment as we go ahead and just move on into our last and final topic of the evening. MLK files have been released, and there has been a lot of, I say, legacy. There has been a lot of, could be truths, I think, reality of a lot of matters that will come out. But I think with the MLK files being released, I'll go ahead and say it at the beginning. They are trying to tarnish MLK's legacy. They are trying to change his position, his stature in the mind of black people, to not make him a leader of black people anymore. They want us to reject MLK as a whole, just like a lot of other black leadership that they've done this pretty much through all of black history. So I can't really be that surprised when it's happening now. I can't be. And with a lot of these things, it's like, I'm gonna tell y'all a lot of the things that they've been saying have been coming out. Is that the first time I heard about this was Charleston White, y'all know, the troll online, who he mentioned that I'm gonna say it in his words, MLK was a whoremongering preacher, as in he had mistresses. He would go out to Las Vegas and party with hookers and strippers, and he loved women. He was cheating on his wife, and yeah, that's pretty much what these files have released. Like, he wasn't writing his own speeches, which I have no problem with him not writing his own speeches. A lot of people get help with public speaking anyway. Like, there's a lot of things that go behind a lot of the big speeches by organizing them and doing all of that stuff anyway. So of course, him having somebody come in and help him with his speeches, that's fine. That's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But what they are trying to do is tarnish the legacy of MLK and to take another black leader away from black people. But Roland Martin had something that he needed to say about it. So let's go ahead and check in to what he said about it, and then we'll get back on the subject. Let's get it.
Something else happened today that I need to warn y'all. So Donald Trump signed an executive order declassifying all of the papers regarding the assassination of President John F. Kennedy, Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., and Senator Robert F. Kennedy. Let me explain to y'all what's about to happen. What's about to happen. In 5 or 6 years, the FBI so-called recordings of Dr. King were set to be released. Those will now be released. The FBI, who I simply do not believe, claims that Dr. King, they have recordings of Dr. King having affairs, involved in orgies. They claim that he was with a white prostitute in Las Vegas. And these were all notes. David Garrow wrote a story. No American media entity would run the story. So he went to a small outlet overseas. And there were the notes, and these notes were a part of the JFK papers at the I think Library of Congress or National Archives. And so he wrote a story based upon the notes. So Charlie Kirk, Turning Point USA, when he did all his videos trashing King, oh, we shouldn't be celebrating him. Let me explain to you why they doing this here. I just want y'all to understand what's about to come down. They are going to try to completely destroy the legacy of Dr. King. I guarantee you, when these papers are released and you get the recordings and all the stuff from the FBI, people are gonna say, take his name off of streets, take his name off of elementary schools. We should not have programs honoring him. We should not have scholarship programs. He was not a moral man. I'm telling y'all, don't think for a second that this executive order signed by Trump, is all about, let's just get at the truth of what happens. I'm telling y'all right now, and let me just be on record right now, in advance of whatever is released. And I'm just going to say this here, and I remember, and I'm going to quote my dear alpha brother, Andrew Young, when I asked him this question. I think we actually got it on tape as well in the interview that I did with him in Atlanta, when I asked him about this very thing, and he said, fuck them. Listen to me clearly. Anything that is released related to the private life of Dr. King, who was not a perfect man, no man or woman is perfect. Anything released from the FBI and J. Edgar Hoover and his COINTEL program is full of shit. They tried to get King to kill himself. They doctored tapes. They sent stuff to Coretta Scott King. I absolutely believe nothing, absolutely nothing that comes from this FBI as it relates to Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and J. Edgar Hoover's name shouldn't even be on the FBI building here in Washington, D.C., because he was a racist, corrupt, evil son of a bitch. And that should be the reaction every Black America gives when anything comes out about Dr. King released from this federal government and from this FBI. Greg, go ahead.
Hey, y'all, like I said, Roland Martin had a lot. He had a lot to say about that, y'all. He had a lot to say. And, you know, yeah. Oh, y'all, tech diff. But Roland Martin had a lot to say about that. And I'm not going to lie to y'all. I do agree with him on a lot of it. However, I'm not going to say that everything that comes out is not true. I will say this: in spite of everything being true, I still will not turn my back on MLK. Okay, that's what I'm saying, because I understand that people are not perfect, and the fact that he's an alpha, they are some whores. All right, y'all. I'm sorry to all my alpha friends. I'm sorry. I just wanted to crack a little joke on y'all, but y'all are some whores. However, MLK might not have been. But other than the alphas being whores, back then, it was kind of common for a lot more things could be hidden. So I'm not going to say that this couldn't be true, but what I do feel like has happened is that they are trying to tarnish who MLK is to Black people as a whole. As a whole. So instead of us coming around and seeing MLK as not being human, because the thing is, when you have someone who, let's be real, MLK is almost like I don't want to say the word, because he's almost like an idol, because y'all know we're not supposed to have idols that we worship or nothing. But to the Black community, MLK is a very important figure for all of us, just from who he is to us as a kid, who he is to the civil rights movement. Like, as a kid, I remember MLK Day. I remember Black History Month focusing so much on MLK that he is a reverend figure to Black people. I remember sitting in class watching that Malcolm movie, not Malcolm movie, the Martin movie, of what it was like. He had to go in the future or something like that. I just remember sitting there, Martin Luther King being a very influential figure. I remember listening to the I Have a Dream speech. I 1,000% remember that. And then as I grow up, you start to hear rumors about who this person really is, or things like this. Is not the first time I'm hearing about MLK not being the person that they say he is. They were talking about the day that he got assassinated, he was with a hooker in the hotel room. So to me, and just knowing how it used to be back in the day, like it was easier to cover things up back in the day. It's whole families that had granddad over here and he had a whole family over there, and then at the funeral he got two families sitting there crying and all this crazy stuff. Guys, I'm not going to put it past it, but what I am going to say is that MLK Jr. was human just like all of us. And if we go and these files come out and we cancel MLK because he ain't who he said he was, you not who you say you are half the time. What dirt you got in your closet? What are you doing that's not looked at as acceptable to be all holy as thou? So when it comes to this, let's first take a look at ourselves and ask ourselves, are we perfect? Have we been 100% truthful in who we are? What dirt have you done? Because I'm not gonna lie to y'all, I'm not perfect at all. I'm not perfect at all. And that's why when it comes down to canceling people, I just don't I don't I don't rock with it, because I feel like canceling someone is being is being holier than thou. I like to look at people as they can make mistakes. MLK, even in who he might have, the idolized person that he is to be, he wasn't perfect. He still had his faults, just like we all have our faults. So for whatever he did, whatever went down, whatever we find out, just take it as a history lesson. You're learning a little bit more. Or it might not be true. It might not be true. But I say don't let them take another important figure away from us, guys. Like, don't let them take another figure that's important in our lives away from us. I couldn't care if it's true or not, y'all. I'm not gonna lie to y'all. Whether it's true or not, MLK still did a lot for us in being the face of a movement. In being a face of a movement, he still did a lot for us, and he had a lot to carry on his back. So I want to say thank you to MLK Jr. for everything that he has done. And for everything that we'll find out, hey, you were not a perfect person. You're not a perfect man in any way, form, and being. And this is from a kid who we went 12 years, every single year, learning more and more about MLK, just in having MLK Day and celebrating you throughout Black History Month. Not as in that's the only month that we could celebrate you, but y'all know, y'all understand how it is, and y'all know what I mean when I say that. But yeah, y'all, that's how I feel about that. Y'all let me know how y'all feel about MLK files being released. Are you canceling MLK? Are you one of those people who will say, I told y'all, this is why we shouldn't have been following him? Or are you going to be someone who realized that he's not perfect and he's still somebody who's influential and important to Black history? Because I know that's the side that I'll follow on. Y'all let me know by like, subscribing, and leaving a comment, y'all. With that, we are done for today. We are done for today. And guys, as y'all see, I've been struggling today. Like, I'm not gonna lie, that traveling that I just took, it took a lot out of me. And I can't even sitting here trying to do this, y'all. I'm sitting here uncomfortable as all get out. Like, I have no setup that was just comfortable enough for me to record, y'all. I'm holding this mic. I've been holding this mic the whole time. I'm just thankful that I made it through, like that we got through this. And I was trying hard I feel like I sucked today. I sucked today with expressing myself, with getting points across. And I'm not gonna lie to y'all. I feel like it's taxing. I feel like it's taxing to be out here. Like, I even struggled to get these topics together today. It's been very tough right now. It's been very tough right now. That's what I say. But I will see it through. And hopefully next week, to me, because I'm going to judge myself first, hopefully next week things will be better because I will be in another setup. I feel like next week I will not be in another setup before today. Not before today. For Hartfelt, I will be. So there will be another week that I'll have to hold the mic, but I will get through it. I will get through it, y'all. That's pretty much my state right now. My state right now is not really relaxed. Not really relaxed to get through this. This is a real tough shooting for me. A real tough episode to shoot. So I definitely want to say thank y'all for being here, or thank you for watching for sure. Because I feel like this might be a hard watch for a lot of people. Not in he said something crazy, but as in me getting my thoughts off were very difficult today. Very difficult today. And I feel like it will be a hard watch just because of that. just because of that. So I do definitely want to say thank y'all for the support. With that, I'm gonna go ahead and get out of here because I do want to hit the gym. Y'all know I have goals that I'm trying to accomplish this year. So I'm going to say thank y'all for watching. I appreciate y'all for tapping in. Peace, love, and riches. I'm out. Yes, sir.